India must break its silence on the humanitarian disaster in Syria, particularly Aleppo. What's happening in Aleppo? Why is Aleppo important? Why isn't India joining the Syrian war? Should India remain to be silent? What should be India's future course? GS Paper 2, Effect of Policies and Politics of Developed and Developing Countries on India's Interests, Indian Diaspora. What's happening in Aleppo? The northern Syrian city of Aleppo was caught in a brutal 4-year deadlock. It was a key battleground in the war between forces loyal to President Bashar al-Assad and rebels who want to overthrow him. In November, Syrian government forces launched a renewed assault, and rapidly retook almost all of the opposition held east. Tens of thousands of civilians fled those districts. On the 15th of December, the warring sides reached an agreement to end the fighting, and on the 22nd of December the government declared it had taken full control of the city following days of evacuations. Why is Aleppo important? Aleppo was once Syria's largest city, with a population of about 2.3 million. It was also the country's industrial and financial center. The old city is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and was famous for its 13th century citadel, 12th century Great Mosque and huge covered markets, or souks. Now Aleppo's old city, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, has been devastated by years of fierce fighting. Why isn't India joining the Syrian war? India has prided itself on its humane approach to issues. At the same time, it has been India's axiom to not interfere in the affairs of other countries. As the principal architect of the policy of non-alignment, Jawaharlal Nehru was determined to keep India aloof from conflicts elsewhere, so that the country could devote its efforts and energy to the task of developing its economy. National interest does and must trump every other consideration. Often this approach seems, and is, of dubious morality, but if national interest dictates it, the government of the day must pursue national interest. Should India remain to be silent? There is, however, no reason for India to show indifference to the merciless slaughter of innocent lives in Syria. It is true that there is nothing we can do to influence the course of events there. It is also true that the region is of importance to us. Prolonged instability, which might become even worse in the months ahead, with the change in administration in Washington, is not in our interest. Thus, we have legitimate reason not to do or say anything that might upset any of our friends, such as we have. On the whole, we ought to break our silence on the humanitarian situation. What should be India's future course? Similarly in Syria, we ought not to fight shy of condemning the terrible loss of lives. India could and should have taken the initiative of tabling resolution in the UN Security Council, denouncing and deploring the goings-on in Syria. We are not a member of the Security Council at present, but there is nothing to prevent a non-member from introducing a draft resolution. Perhaps it is a bit late for us to take this initiative now. But we must issue a statement, welcoming the unanimity shown by the Security Council, in adopting the Franco-Russian draft resolution mandating the deployment of observers to monitor the evacuation from Aleppo.